You're fired in front of everyone. The humiliating office breakdown that secretly saved my entire life. The conference room went completely silent. Not the normal awkward silence. This was the kind of silence where people stop breathing. 23 employees stared at me while my manager slammed a stack of papers onto the glass table so hard that coffee splashed across the quarterly reports. "You embarrassed this company," he shouted. I could literally hear someone whisper behind me. "Oh no, he's done. There's no way he survives this." My hands were shaking. My throat burned. And then my manager looked directly into my eyes and said the sentence that destroyed me in front of everyone. "Pack your things. You're finished here." At that exact moment, my phone vibrated. And the message on the screen changed everything. 3 months earlier, my life looked perfect from the outside. I worked as a senior marketing coordinator at a large company downtown. I wore expensive suits I couldn't afford. I smiled in meetings while secretly drowning in anxiety. Every morning started the same. Coffee. Fake confidence. Pretending everything was under control. But behind closed doors, I was collapsing. My mother was in the hospital recovering from heart surgery. My younger brother had dropped out of college. My rent had increased. And I was secretly working freelance jobs at night just to survive. I slept maybe 4 hours a day. Still, nobody knew. Because I had mastered the art of smiling while suffering. Then came the campaign. The biggest project of the year. $1 million client. And my manager, Victor, made one thing terrifyingly clear. "If this fails," he warned during a team meeting, "someone's career will end." Everyone laughed nervously. I didn't. Because deep down, I already felt like I was hanging by a thread. 2 weeks before launch, I stayed in the office until 2:14 a.m. The cleaning staff had already left. The entire building was dark except for my monitor. I remember staring at spreadsheets so long that the numbers looked like they were moving. That's when it happened. One tiny error. One wrong upload. One corrupted file. I didn't even realize it. The next morning, the client presentation crashed in front of executives. Videos disappeared. Data failed. Graphics glitched. Victor's face turned pale. The client walked out. And the room erupted. "Who approved this?" someone yelled. Then Victor slowly turned toward me. I'll never forget that look. Pure rage. Pure humiliation. Like I had personally destroyed his future. I tried to explain. I was fixing the overnight revisions and... "Enough," he snapped. People stared at the floor. Nobody defended me. Not one person. That hurt more than the yelling. The emergency meeting happened 3 hours later. Everyone was there. HR, executives, coworkers, even interns. Victor paced back and forth like a furious storm. Then he pointed at me. "You cost this company hundreds of thousands of dollars." My chest tightened. I could feel tears forming, but I refused to cry. Not there. Not in front of them. Then one coworker muttered loudly enough for everyone to hear. I knew he couldn't handle the pressure. That sentence cut deeper than anything else. Because I had sacrificed everything for that job. Birthdays. Sleep. Relationships. My health. And suddenly I was nothing more than the office failure. Victor slammed the papers down. "Pack your things. You're finished here." The room froze. I felt my entire body go numb. Then my phone vibrated. At first, I ignored it. But it kept buzzing. Finally, I looked. The message came from an unknown number. "Don't leave yet. They don't know the truth." My stomach dropped. What truth? 30 seconds later, the conference room doors opened. Everyone turned. And in walked Daniel, the company's IT director. He looked furious. Not at me. At Victor. "You're firing the wrong person," Daniel said. The room exploded with confusion. Victor scoffed. "What are you talking about?" Daniel connected his laptop to the projector. Then he displayed security logs on the giant screen. Timestamp after timestamp appeared. Edits. File access. Unauthorized changes. And then everyone saw it. The corrupted files hadn't come from my computer. They came from Victor's account. The entire room went dead silent. Victor's face lost all color. Daniel looked directly at him. "You altered the campaign after midnight," he said coldly. then tried to shift the blame. Gasps filled the room. One executive whispered, "Oh my God." Victor started stuttering. "No, that's not what happened. I was trying to fix." But Daniel interrupted him. "You deleted critical assets while intoxicated from a remote login." Someone actually dropped a coffee mug. It shattered across the floor. The sound echoed through the room. Victor looked at me. For the first time ever, he looked afraid. You'd think that moment felt satisfying. It didn't. I wasn't happy. I was exhausted. Completely emotionally destroyed. Because the truth was, even though I hadn't ruined the project, I had ruined myself. I had spent years believing my value depended on performance, on approval, on praise, on being perfect. That night, after everyone apologized and HR placed Victor under investigation, I sat alone in my car in the parking garage. And I cried harder than I ever had in my life. Not because I almost got fired, but because I realized how deeply unhappy I had become. I looked at my reflection in the rearview mirror and barely recognized myself. Dark circles. Shaking hands. A fake smile that had finally collapsed. Then my mother called. Her voice was weak from surgery, but calm. "Are you okay?" she asked. That question broke me. I finally admitted the truth. "No," I whispered. There was a long silence. Then she said something I will never forget. "You can lose a job and rebuild your career. But if you lose yourself, rebuilding takes much longer." I sat there stunned. Because she was right. The next morning, something strange happened. I woke up expecting dread. But instead, I felt clarity. For the first time in years. I realized positive thinking doesn't mean pretending life is perfect. It means refusing to believe painful moments are the end of your story. So I made changes. Real ones. I stopped sacrificing my health for validation. I started therapy. I repaired relationships. I visited my mother more often. I slept. Actually slept. And eventually, I left the company. Not in shame. In peace. A year later, I started my own creative consulting business. Small at first. Then growing. Then thriving. Ironically, some of my first clients came from people who witnessed that horrible meeting. One of them admitted, "The way you stayed calm during public humiliation showed more leadership than anyone else in that room." I never forgot those words. Because sometimes your darkest moment reveals your true strength. 2 years later, I received an email. From Victor. I stared at the screen for almost a full minute before opening it. The message was short. "I'm sorry. I was losing control of my life and took it out on everyone around me. Especially you." I expected anger. Instead, I felt relief. Not because he apologized, but because I no longer needed revenge to move forward. That's when I truly understood the power of positive thinking. It's not about denying pain. It's about refusing to let pain define your future.